Hey, welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. Now, a lot of people are new to Linux. One of the first things that they think about is, can I do the same things in Windows and Mac over in Linux? And in my opinion, you definitely can. But it really depends on what you do with your machine. And one of the biggest areas is video editing. Now, I did do some previous episodes before about the available video editors and also how I have my videos set up on my machine. However, if you are somebody who uses video editing as a professional, or maybe you do a lot of video editing in either Adobe Premiere or Apple's Final Cut Pro, then Linux is probably not the platform for you. However, for everyone else, there's two wonderful options that I think a lot of people who use Linux will always go back to. And that's Openshot and Kdenlive. Okay? And in general, Openshot is the best general video editor in my opinion. If you just want to do some quick video edits, and it has a lot of options available as well. And then Kdenlive, it's more for beginning to advanced. And so if you're the type of person who uses Adobe Premiere or Final Cut Pro, then Kdenlive is the better option. And actually that's the one that I use now. Now the only issue is with both of these, if you actually go to, and this is actually my virtual machine, if you actually go to your software manager and then you type in these two programs or look them up, what you'll notice is usually the versions in the software manager, it's not the latest and greatest. Okay, like for example, this version of Openshot is 1.413, so if you download it from the software manager, you get this version. And then if you look at Kdenlive, you'll also get an older version as well. So this one should be 15.12.3. So those are older versions. Okay, now on my computer I actually have the newest version of Kdenlive, which should be 16.12.13 or 0.3, and then I also have the brand new version of Openshot as well, which is what I'm going to be talking about today, is 2.3.1. So in order for you to get the newest versions of this software, you can go to their website. Okay, here's Openshot and here's Kdenlive, and you could add the PPA, and I won't go through all of that, but at least not for Kdenlive. But for Openshot, I really recommend that you download the newest version, and that's what I'm going to be talking about today, because Openshot just released a new version. Okay, now I do want to say one thing before I start, is that I would say Linux, it often gets a bad rap for video editing or multimedia, but that's usually coming from people who, like I said, are professionals or who do this regularly, okay, and they're already in those other ecosystems. But these video editors that are provided for free, it's a lot of hard work. These are not easy things to create, and they do this for free. And I recommend that if you can, I would donate to any of these open source projects that you really enjoy using. I just, I donated for Openshot right there. And I also do the same thing for Kdenlive, is because these people do this for free. These are absolutely amazing, very complex programs. Okay, so if that's something that you want to do, I think that's an option right there to help these people who are building this. So going back to Openshot, this brand new version of 2.3, I think it's been a while since they've had a major release like this, but it has a lot of new options. Transfer tool, zooming, razor, new title editors, and a brand new preview mode, and also some under the hood improvements. So that's actually what I'm going to be going over today. And I have since switched over from Openshot to Kdenlive, and so Kdenlive is the primary video editor that I use. Okay, so if you actually wanted to download the newest version of Openshot, we just go here and you would basically just add the PPA. Okay, and if you are familiar with how that works, basically you would open up your terminal right here. Okay, and I've already done this, but you would add each one of these lines one at a time. Okay, and you would do the same thing for Kdenlive as well. And whenever you add that, you'll get the access to the newest version, and if there is a new version, then it'll get updated through there. Okay, now there are other ways to do this, but I think this is the easiest way. You could also do it through your GUI tool as well, but for most people, just copy and paste this into your terminal, okay? So then that means you always have the newest version, the newest stable version. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and move over to the brand new version of Openshot. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have the new version up right here and then the older version right here, so then you could kind of see the differences between the two, okay? And the majority of the differences, there are really, I would say, improvements that help your workflow, okay, that actually make things easier to use. But for the most part, things are pretty much the same in terms of functionality. And so if you're used to Openshot, then it won't be a complete shock when you're actually moving over to the new version. But the improvements that they made, I think they will really help out a lot of people. So the first improvement that they made is this preview window that they have here. Now here on your project files, when you add files, you know, they're here, but you can't really see them unless you pull them down here, okay? But one really great feature that they added for Openshot is if you right click on your mouse, you could actually preview the file right here, which is really, really cool. That's extremely helpful. And so you kind of know how the video looks like before you drag it down to your timeline. You know, like before you did it before, you would have to drag it down to your timeline, play it, and then if it's something that you don't want, then you have to remove it from your timeline. So this is really, really helpful. Okay, so the second thing that they have is this brand new transform feature. Okay, and what I mean by that is you could actually manipulate objects in your timeline a lot easier. Okay, so for example, say I wanted to make this video, make it smaller midway through the video. Okay, so if I went here, say right here, right, I could actually just right click on the mouse and then you do transform. Okay, now you can actually manipulate the object. Say I want to just zoom it down. Okay, and just remember, this is manipulating the actual video size. You could do this to images as well. And I will say this actually works better on an image than a video, meaning it performs better, even though I have really powerful hardware. So I'll show you the difference between that and an image. So if I go back here, and you see the point where it transformed right here, this little green dot. So let's see how that looks. So you see it starts changing, you know. And then the cool thing is you could go to different points in the video. Like if you go here, okay, and then you do transform again, you could change it again. And you know, you could resize it how you want, reposition how you want. Okay, and like I said, for video, it's a little slow. You know, even if you have really good hardware, I think that's some optimization that they would have to do. Okay, so now if you go back here, and then once you play this,
I am very, very surprised that
you see that. See, it starts transforming to the next part. Okay, and so you see how that works. Now, in the older version of Openshot, you could kind of do that. I mean, you would have to add a different transition. It's called it was like a zoom transition, and I can't remember. I haven't used Openshot in a while, so there is a way that you could do that here, or you could even do your properties. There's a layout feature that's a default, but you could also do properties where you could change where it's at, you know, and that's really not really an easy way to do it, you know. And as a matter of fact, I think this is the way that I did it before, okay, which is not really easy to do, you know. And here it's much easier. And then if you could do the same thing with an image. If I added an image here, and you know, I could actually transform or actually change where the image is at, how it looks. Let me see. See, now right now it's overlaid completely over my video, but if I do a transform, and it's a lot quicker with an image, okay, it just manipulates it quicker. So I could just put that right there. Okay, so you play it again, and I just need to get that right. See, so you could see how that could make things a lot easier if you want to do overlays and so forth, or little previews. It's just a lot easier to do in this new version of Openshot than the old version. Okay, So moving on to some other improvements that they made is the zoom feature. And honestly, I didn't really see where the improvements were, because if I go here, you know, I mean, it's about the same, you know. But I will say this. This is a really small thing, but it makes a difference. You see here, this is kind of like choppy when it's zooming back and forth. Whereas here, it's a smoother process. Okay, so that does really help. I mean, and it's very small things, okay, but it helps in the overall experience of you using this software. Okay, so every single one of these improvements to Openshot, it's really meant to improve your overall user experience and workflow. Okay, so that is the zoom feature. And also another one that they touted is the razor feature, and I don't really know what the big difference is, because here I use the razor tool and it works about the same. But it seems like with this one, this is off from an older version of Openshot. You could do quicker, you know, cuts using this tool. Okay, so I think that's where the improvements are there. Okay, now another additional feature is your titles. Okay, meaning you could add different titles, and you could do that in the older version, but it looks better. You know, they added a few more titles. Like if I go here and I added a new title, you see how this old one looks? It's pretty ugly. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, you don't have all these cool previews. Here on the new version, you have all these cool previews. It's just a lot easier, you know, and it looks better. And they added some new stuff like this too. You know, you could change the title name. You could change whatever it says in here, which is really cool. You know, so let me see if I delete some of this, and you could delete that. See, so it's really cool that you could do that. Okay, and so another thing that they've also improved is with the animation as well. You also see better previews. I don't use animation myself. See, it's very similar, but I just think it looks better here. You know, but you do have to have the latest version of Blender in order to use it. And so, you know, like the animated is something like this. Okay, I don't use them myself, but it's available here. They've added a few more things as well, so that's cool. And then let me cancel this one. And see, like, you have to have a brand new version of Blender in order to use this. I don't use it, so I didn't upgrade my version of Blender. Okay, so let's go back here. Now, also, if you look at your transitions and effects, this is one place that I really feel Openshot has an advantage over Kdenlive. You know, you actually have previews of your transitions and effects, which is really, really cool. And once again, not much difference, but they might have added some new effects. I just feel like there's more here. And it looks clear. I don't know if that you could see that, but it looks clearer to me. And then also here's the old effects right here. Okay, very simple. And then here you have new effects as well. And they've actually shortened the amount of effects. I'm not sure why they did that. Maybe because they realized that people don't use a lot of these. So maybe that's one place that there is less. You know, there's less effects. So that's unfortunate. I was hoping there would be more effects, but maybe you could add them manually. But yeah, so once again, easier to use. This one's not too much of a difference, but even just the way it looks, it's just easier on my eyes as well. Okay, and so that, I think, is overall the new features. I mean, like, that you can actually see, and not much in terms of like other features that are, I would say, really apparent. Okay, especially if you're used to using both at the same time. Now, there are some little things that are different as well. Okay, and one of which is whenever you export your video file, and you do it here as well, it looks similar. Okay, but I think this one's a little more complex. It just, even if it has the same functionality, you know, you have to choose this first, and you have to do this every time, and then you have to choose your profile and so forth. Okay, even though I have a default profile set here, it already has your profile set from your preferences right here. If you go to edit preferences, see, it already has your profile set right here. And you know, it's just those little things that makes it easier. Whereas if you go here you know, it's just a little bit more complex and cumbersome. Even though I already have my default profile, even when I export it, it didn't load up my default export profile settings, okay? And that is just another thing that you don't have to think about, okay? And there is two different themes. There is the humanity dark theme, and then this your light theme, or whatever theme that you're using. I like this dark theme. It's just easier for you to see, okay? So that's another area of improvement as well. It's all these little touches, you know. That's something that if you're using these video editors a lot, you know, anything that you get that could actually improve your work, make things easier, your workflow, then that's definitely what Openshot was going for, you know. And just those improvements that might not be big that you can see, but they are improvements, especially if you're doing this day to day. Those few minutes or seconds, it helps a lot. And I really love this preview feature. That's probably the newest feature that I enjoy that helps a lot. And also the transform features. That's me personally, the two features that I like the most. The thing is, the last thing is, it's performance features. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and export these two videos. They're actually the same video clips. Let me remove this one, and I'm gonna see if there is a difference, how much of a difference, because that's one thing that that they talked about is the performance enhancements. Okay, so I'm gonna probably have to cut this in terms of speed it up. So first I'm gonna export it here in the old Openshot. So I'm gonna use the same profile. So it's MPEG-4, and then goes 1080p 30 frames, and I'm gonna do high. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and export this, and then I'm gonna do the same thing here. So let's see how long this takes. Okay, so I just got done exporting on this old version, and unfortunately it didn't have like a timer, but this is about a 10-minute video. Yeah, it's almost, yeah, it's like a little over 10 minutes and 40 seconds. And I started that at around 6:52, and it finished at around 6:55. And so, yeah, it's about 3 minutes. Yeah, maybe 4 minutes. Let's just say about 4 minutes to do it on the old version. So let's go ahead and export that same video, and on this new version, I'm going to get rid of this image. So, and I'm also going to get rid of the transform version as well. And let's see how fast this one goes. And so let me delete that one, and then put this back. Okay, so let's go ahead and save it. I'm going to export it, and let's see if that's any faster. I'm hoping that it shows like a timer, but I'm starting this at 6:57, so let's go ahead and try it. Okay, so it looks like it's almost done. Okay, it's done there. So it's 7:05. I wish they had like a time stamp, like Kdenlive has that. Maybe there's an option for that, but I actually started this at around 6:57. Yeah, so I started, yeah, so it's around 6:57. So I'm kind of surprised that this actually took, I would say, a little longer. The old one took about 5 minutes, I would say. This one's maybe about 6 or 7 minutes, you know, probably. If it started at 6:57, yeah, so a little bit longer, probably, yeah, 6:57. So yeah, it did take longer, about 8 minutes almost, and so I'm kind of surprised by that. However, you know, like this is a brand new version, and maybe there are other updates that will improve that, and so that's the only thing that I didn't see an improvement in. Okay, so overall, this brand new version of Openshot, I really do enjoy all the improvements that they've made. I really feel like it's improved everything that they've already had before, except for the slight performance difference, okay? But everything else, this actually will make it even easier for people who are a really general video editor, and also people who just want to quickly get things done. And I still think Openshot is still one of the best video editors out there, especially for people who don't want to, number one, don't want to spend a ton of money on something like a pro video editor. And then also number two, there are a lot of things here that will allow you to do more than just basic video editing, you know. And I think when people use Openshot, in a lot of ways, they're actually introduced to the whole world of video editing, in my opinion, and that'll probably make them want to learn more about video editing, which is what it's done for me. And so that's it for my review of this brand new version of Openshot. Like I said, my primary is Kdenlive, but now with these new updates, I might be using Openshot more again. Okay, and so if you had any thoughts on this, or Kdenlive, or any other video editors in Linux that you enjoy, be sure to leave them in the comments area below. And if you did get a lot of value out of these videos, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And if you wanted to support my channel further, you could do that at patreon.com/Geek Outdoors. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in another episode. Thanks for checking out this episode. And as always, if you like these videos, be sure to click on the subscribe button. And for full written content, audio content, and additional geek stuff, head over to geekoutdoors.com, and I'll see you outdoors on the very next episode.